The following program may contain strong language and mature content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, it's on the Walter, and I'm here with another episode of the Walt B Connection. We're going to definitely get into some things because, we like to just discuss all the things of the things. They're very important to life. Before we get into those things, though, we like to do a check-in. Check in on your friends, okay? You gotta know how they're doing. Just because they look strong does not mean that they are strong. So before we go any further, Manaal, I want to check in with you. How are you doing?
Thank you for checking in with me because it's important.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we forget to check in with ourselves. So
Yeah.
sometimes you checking in with me helps me to check in with me. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So today, because I want to deal in the present, today I'm actually feeling very good. Like I'm on a high. I
Right.
feel like my problem solving skills are on 1,000 right now, and I feel
Okay.
like my boundary setting is impeccable. Um, hey Gail. Definitely feel like the way I am communicating my boundaries has
Mm.
improved. I still don't feel like I'm grown yet, but I think I'm
Okay.
getting more. I'm getting into my grown woman. I'm
I
finding
like
that
that.
too, finding those boundaries, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
communicating them to everybody.
I like
I'm telling
that.
them where to sit. I'm telling them where to sit at this point in life.
Right. So you're being the usher right before you get on stage and really
Oh
show
yeah.
us.
Mhm.
Okay, got it. Right, right,
Mhm.
right, right. And
Yeah.
this week for me has been, you know how things come full circle?
Mhm.
So, this past week, so me and music have this love-hate relationship. Sometimes I love music and then sometimes I hate music. It's really like, no, fuck you. Right between me and music. But this past week, music and I feel like we made love for the first time in a long time.
Mm.
Not just because I had an amazing show, but I did a rehearsal. I've been getting calls. Girl, I'm booked all the way till next February. Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Yes.
And this is so big for me because when I left the church and decided, that I was just going to accept myself and move forward, I thought I was going to have to sacrifice music because most of my
Mm.
life, as you know, we met singing in the church.
Gospel. Mhm.
Right. I thought I was going to have to sacrifice music and either ghostwrite or do whatever. But this week has really showed me that if you're willing to do the work and honor the God of your understanding, I know everybody that watches is not Christian, but if you honor the God of your understanding and you honor yourself in that, you dedicate yourself, things will begin to happen for you. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be on the Grammys tomorrow, but I'm definitely doing what I love to do in spaces that I've never been in before. So that's been amazing for me this week.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah. All right. Now, so we want to encourage you in your time. Reach out, check on your friends, and listen to what they have to say. Don't always give a word of judgment. Sometimes you don't even have to give words of advice, but do some active listening. And before we go on, Manaal, you always tell me to active listen and something about how I respond. I forgot your advice there. What is the advice you give on when we respond?
When you respond, one, make sure that the person actually wants you to respond.
There we go.
Sometimes people legitimately just want to be heard, seen, and understood. It doesn't mean you always got to run your mouth. And so sometimes just asking that question, like, okay, do you want me to just listen, or do you actually want some input? And then ask the person, do they want like real input, or do they just want sister girl input? Because that looks different.
Right.
The sister girl is just gonna say, yeah, word, I understand. They shouldn't have done you like that. That's sister girl. Actual advice is gonna say, you know what, you probably could have handled that better. It wasn't all on them. Let's take accountability for yourself. It's different.
I love it. I love it. Look at us changing lives and shit. We're so mature and evolved.
Trying to elevate.
Yeah. Black Lives Matter. So now we're here for a purpose, and we're going to talk about something a little juicy and spicy, a little racy. To lay or not to lay? That is the question. Again, dating is different in 2022. Y'all, I'm gonna give you this spiel again. When the last time I was on the market to date, I was 18, 19 years old. Online dating wasn't necessarily a thing. I'm 39. It wasn't necessarily a thing back then. It was, give and take. But then here we go, fast forward all these years. I've changed. My religious perspectives have changed. My worldview has changed, and then online dating is a thing. But one thing that hasn't changed about dating is the stickiness of sex. The stickiness of meeting someone in the jungle and starting that rumble in the jungle. Sometimes, I'm not even hunting, but I find myself in the woods getting ready to rumble in the jungle. And sometimes, Manaal, when I find myself in the jungle, getting ready to engage with, who would I be engaging with in the jungle?
Whether it's George or Jane and George, or George or George, or Jane and Jane, depending on how you're feeling that day.
The math is definitely mathing, yes. But when I run into George of the jungle, he definitely doesn't warn me to watch out for those trees, because I like the trees. Okay, I definitely like the tree in the jungle. But sometimes it can be sticky, and you want to feel like you're holding yourself in a moral stance for yourself, and for those of you that are religious, you may have a religious conviction. And so it's kind of sticky when we talk about laying down with somebody, running in the jungle with somebody. But no, you were saying something earlier, as we did talk about this, y'all, off camera. Manaal is my friend in real life. You were saying something earlier about consent versus abstinence.
Absolutely.
And you were talking about make sure that we're giving full consent. Maybe expound on that, or introduce it and expound on that just a little bit when it comes to having sex.
One of the main challenges that I feel when you are growing up in certain environments is that we are taught to abstain from sex. Right. So we never really get to understand the fullness of what it is, what it can be, our roles in it. We never really get a chance to even accept ourselves and being connected with someone physically. It takes years for that adjustment to even happen. And so for me, I try to teach parents, especially, to teach consent instead of abstinence. Because when you teach consent for sex, you're actually empowering that individual to make choices for themselves.
I love
to think things through. You're giving them permission to ask questions, and you're taking the stigma away from sex and sexuality and sensuality. and connecting physically, you're taking the stigma off of it so you can open up the floodgates for conversation and for guidance and for information.
Mm-hmm.
But that key part is that empowerment. Like, I literally get to say what happens with my body and when and with whom. And
Mm.
that's the most valuable lesson a person can learn, because a lot of the manipulation that comes in life, or a lot of the games that come in life, is you feel like your body is not yours, that it is to be used as a tool, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't have a say whether you're married or not. You feel like you
Right.
don't have a say
Mm-hmm.
in what happens with your body.
Mm-hmm.
And so that consent is so essential. It's not just, okay, I want to have sex, but it's, I want to
Mm-hmm.
have sex because I'm choosing to, not because
Right.
I feel like I'm forced, not because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm going to lose this relationship if I don't
Mm-hmm.
give them what they want. Take all of that away. I
Right.
legitimately am in
This
control
is
of my
what
life and
I
my
want to do.
body, and it's what I want.
Right. This is
And right
important.
now, I want you.
This is important. I remember when we watched that season of Married at First Sight. We watched the
Yep.
whole season, you guys, from Married at First Sight. And one of the couples, the girl was a virgin and the guy wasn't. And they got married. And even after they got married, she still held full autonomy of her body and said, even though we're married, I still don't feel comfortable enough to have sex with you. Now, that wouldn't have worked for me, baby. We would have been down at the courthouse that night like, no, go ahead on and give me that divorce. But I do respect the fact that she held herself and said, this is my body. I'm going to choose when I give my body to somebody. And I think that's an amazing thing. That's what it looks like to have autonomy over your
Mm-hmm.
body.
But even on the other side of that,
Mm-hmm,
right? Whereas she
mm-hmm,
said, I'm in control of my body and I don't want to just give it away, even in this situation.
right.
It needs to be right for me.
Mm-hmm,
Um, Even the gentleman showed respect for that consent, and also had a sense of consent for himself, right?
right, right,
Because I'm
right.
not going to just go through with marrying you, because
Mm-hmm,
after the 8 weeks they get a chance to choose if they're going to stay together.
mm-hmm,
He
mm-hmm.
didn't he did not consent to that relationship because he did not
Right,
want to take advantage of her, nor did he
right.
want to position himself to not get what he wanted out of a
Period.
relationship. So even he
Right.
showed that he understood consent.
I love it. I love it. And by the way, they were black.
Yeah.
Because they
Hey,
try to act
they're
like,
in there.
right, they try to act like, we just can't do nothing
No
without a whole bunch of
control.
sex. Right, right. But yeah, they were black and they both held themselves in respectable manners, right?
And we're
Uh,
young.
right, right. And so the thing I liked about this was this kind of removed a lot of the elementary things that we kind of look at. When I was entering back into the world of dating, I came across a lot of theories. Make them wait 60 days, make them wait 30 days, make them wait 90 days. Ooh, make them wait a year, make them wait until you're married. And this is why I like that analogy that you gave about the jungle. Okay. Because when we were talking, you said we shouldn't really minimize consent we shouldn't look at consent to like a date, a calendar.
Hmm.
We should look at our consent more like a map to the jungle. Okay. X marks the spot. Once you've done the
Yeah.
work to get to X, then I know that you are a candidate if I'm ready. You are a candidate that I could actually give myself to, because I'm really opening myself up. And this is for men and women, both gay and straight, bisexual, trisexual, transsexual. When you are having sex with someone, you're opening yourself up in a vulnerable space. Yes, it's gonna feel good, like Stephanie Mills said, feel good all over. But y'all forgive me, that's that Metro PCS. Can you hear me?
It's Metro.
Metro
Never mind, I
BS?
go to it.
Right.
Yeah, I was
um, it's gonna feel real good all over. But you want to make sure that you're laying down with someone who's worthy of your love. Am I right about it?
worthy of my love, or just my good time, my energy, my effort, my sweat.
Right. Because if it's good, there will be some pumping and some sweating.
I'm just saying.
And let me just say this: if you one of them people that get in there and you ain't sweating, your sex is whack, and that ain't the show for tonight. But I want
You
to
ain't
prophesy
doing it
to
right.
you. I want to prophesy. It's about 3 of y'all watching right now, and no, I'm just playing. Let me quit. All right, now, so this really gets us into some like sticky, area, Manaal, because I was raised in the church and I was raised Pentecostal. Okay, we speak in tongues more than ye all. Okay,
I think that is y'all's first language, ain't it?
Right. Fuck English. It was tongues. Okay. My mom was like, shana na na. No. Shana na. No. Shana na. Right.
Are they rolling R's? No.
Right. You speaking Spanish? No, those are tongues. Right. Right. My mom, we speak in tongues more. We were so bad, like my mom would be blessing Thanksgiving dinner and go off in tongues, and then we gotta wait till my aunts and everybody finish so we could eat. Like we like, well, damn, the food cold now. I don't want none. But
y'all taking the napkins, laying them on everybody.
Right. Oh my God. But sex was such a no thing. It was a no, like it was not an option before marriage, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I don't think none of my siblings waited till marriage to have sex. Like I waited with my ex-wife, but before her, there was plenty others. Before I got with her, right? And since her, there have been some that I've come into blessed fellowship with. Now, my question is, because in our culture, Black culture, Christian culture, we like to throw around insults. And, when we start talking about owning your sexuality and your right to say no, a lot of times they accuse us of having a wayward mindset or a wayward way of doing ththings. And those of you who are watching, please, in the comment section, if you can identify with this or if you disagree, please let us know. You're accused of having a wayward mindset or a wayward way of thinking because you chose to take ownership of your sexuality. My question to you is, and it's very direct, and I want us to dissect this as much as possible. Does sex before marriage make you a hoe?
No. So here's the thing, like going back to the fact that we in our minds or have been taught that we need to wait a certain time period before having sex. Like I really want to encourage people to let go of this idea of a calendar date. Okay. Like literally, you can tell somebody you're waiting 90 days. You can tell somebody you're waiting 30 days. And they will wait. If they are the kind of person who is just in it for the game, they will wait
while they fucking somebody else, right?
And so it's really we're really psyching ourselves out to think that if I have this person wait, I'm going to get a person of quality. When in actuality, you need to be figuring out what a person of quality is to you, because you might in fact meet that person and y'all get it in after 3 days of knowing each other, and that's the person you build your life with.
Facts.
And so it's about understanding who you are and what you want and what you're looking for and what works for your life. And then that person, whoever that person is, that's who you get a butt to. That's who you get to.
That's who you give the butt to? I feel like you're calling me out.
That's who you get a butt to.
Are you calling me a bottom? I feel like you're calling me out.
I mean, bottom, top, side,
verse.
Upside down.
So, that took me out for a second there. I like this because basically, no, we're not saying. I think we need to define terms as well when it comes to what we call people, how we try to label people. I think we certainly need to define terms. Kwame, if you could, can I get that? Can I get the definition of a hoe real quick? She done told all my business. I'm out here
I'm trying to become a ceiling in my next life. in my next level.
I'm trying to be the bottom that God is calling for in these last and in these evil days. Send unto me the top that you would have for me to have, Lord, on tonight. See, I'm showing somebody how to pray. I'm showing somebody how to pray. But I feel like we need to define terms, Manaal, because I used to go around, before we had this conversation, I used to go around like, yeah, I'm a hoe. I would call myself a religious hoe. I would call myself a spiritual hoe. I would call myself a loving hoe. I would call myself, I would label myself all these things. Of course, joking, telling my audience that I was owning my sexuality. But in fact, I was misinforming my following because I was never a hoe. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see that? You mind reading that, Manaal? I'm sitting here with these glasses. They got fingerprints all on them.
It's okay. You're older than me. So, hey, Walter. So I like definitions. This is why it's important. So we can all get on the same page and know what it is that we're talking about. So a hoe is actually defined as a person, whether they are male or female, who uses their looks and charms to manipulate their partner to gain material, whether it is sex, money, or clout. A hoe does not love their partner, and the minute someone with better looks, money, or clout comes along, they abandon their previous partner, and the cycle continues. So at the end of the day, this is a person who's just looking for a come up.
Right.
So they are literally using their body for gain. That's
Absolutely.
what a hoe is.
So, I was not a holy hoe. I was not a sanctified hoe. Oh, bless him. I feel like I'm teaching Bible study tonight. You just read the scripture. I was not. I was not.
From the book of In These Streets.
Right. I was not a nasty hoe. But in fact, and I think this is important, especially in this reality TV age.
Yeah.
Okay. Because everybody is looking for that next come up. And own if that's what you want to do with your body, baby, own it. But there are those of us who are out here actually looking for a relationship, and we want to build something that will last. Personally, now this is my opinion, I do not feel like you can build a life with what we just defined as a whole. I don't think that is something that you can do, right? So you can wait 30 days with a hoe, but it's still not going to last because, again, and there's always going to be somebody who looks better and someone who has a little more clout. The minute someone comes along, you're going to be left in the dust, right? And so this is why it's important not to give them a calendar date, but to look for different characteristics. And are you really here, or are you here for the come up?
Yeah. Right? And it's so interesting because so many of us really feel like we're hoes. And it's just that messaging, of course, that we get from other people. And then for whatever reason, now we want to rebrand it and we want to claim it because now, we want to say that it is a positive thing. But in all actuality, using people to gain and using your body to gain is probably not the healthiest choice to make. Right? And so what are we doing for ourselves? How are we presenting ourselves in relationship? How are we attracting people? And being honest with yourself in a sense to say, no, I'm legitimately out here trying to get what I can get. That's one thing. But to claim that you are a hoe and you're not using anybody, or you're not using your body for gains, you got to define yourself as something else. You are a person, you may not be looking for a serious relationship. You may not be ready to commit, but you're not using nobody. Right. I may just be out here to legitimately have fun and enjoy myself and get a feeling or two, or fill up on an ass or two. Every now and then I get this feeling in my back and I know I'm missing something. I'm missing the shake. I need to shake it.
Mhm.
right? And so sometimes in life, I needed someone to shake it with.
Ah,
I'm not trying to have you pay my rent. I can do my own nails. I
here,
got
now
food
you
in my
talking now.
refrigerator, but I just need to back it up for a second. So can you help
Hmm.
me out? Like that's something different. And
Hmm.
that's where promiscuity comes in at.
Promiscuity. All right. Can I get that
Hmm.
definition, Kwame? Kwame is the third host of this show. He is not singing.
Hey,
He
can we
enjoys
call him Kwame? I like Kwame.
Kwame. Am I saying it wrong, Kwame?
Hmm.
Oh,
Can we
he gonna let
can we
us
just
know.
call
Hold
him
on.
Kwame?
All right.
You got this
So
one. You
I'm
got
I'm gonna
your
try now.
glasses
Y'all
cool.
y'all already know that I dropped out in the third grade. Hold on.
It's okay. I
Sometimes
will pick it up if you drop it. Okay.
sometimes liquor make you read better. Hold on. Having a characterized by many transient sexual relationships, promiscuous teenagers. Number two says demonstrating or implying an undiscriminating or unselective approach, indiscriminate or casual.
Hmm.
Did I read that right?
You did.
Oh,
You
thank
read
you,
it.
Lord.
You read it so right. Can I read it? Can I read it?
Absolutely.
So, promiscuous, having or characterized by many transient sexual relationships, demonstrating or implying an undiscriminating or
Mm,
unselective approach,
yes.
indiscriminate or
Mhm.
casual.
Yours sounded a whole lot more sassy. Yes. Sassy.
You're welcome.
Okay. Um, so Kwame told me I was pronouncing his name wrong, and I love you for that, Kwame. Uh, okay, so when we got these definitions correct, on the screen and we put them out there, I found out that there were seasons in my life. Cause see, I've never been a hoe. I don't use I don't use people. That's just not how I get out. And like you just said, I'm the type of person, if I need it, I'm gonna go get it. Right? I may just need
Mhm.
you for a good old nut. A good old,
Relax my mind so I can go get it for myself.
period. You just, play your role. That's it. That's it. That's all. So I was more promiscuous, but I was thinking because I was promiscuous because of the religious teaching and the religious stigma, and of course we always try to label someone, the worst thing. I was
Yeah.
referring to myself as a hoe. Now I want everybody to understand whatever you identify as, you go ahead and you do that, right? Um, you go ahead and you do that, and I'm gonna support it, right? I'm here as a friend. Well, hold on. I'll support it as long as you're not harming yourself. Go ahead. I'm definitely here as a friend. But for me, I have moved to the area now, and I watched this growth Manaal because remember what was I was
Mhm.
at 2 years ago. I'm to a place now where I'm okay with being in a relationship, right? So
Mm.
I am now looking for someone who has the characteristics, who's not necessarily going to be a hoe or be promiscuous. I can definitely entertain someone who is promiscuous, though. I don't think I would entertain someone who's a hoe.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So if you showed me promiscuous characteristics, that may be something I would be willing to entertain and have a conversation about. And, we can actually try to grow together because that could just be you don't see it for this relationship. And maybe, after a conversation or two, you can see that this is something you want to build with. And then you can put to bed the promiscuous behavior, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, to me, that whole character though, that's something in there that may
It's
need to be
dangerous.
therapized. It may need to be
Yeah.
therapeuted. I don't what's the
Can we say Thexorcist? Is that what it is? Can we say Thexorcist?
You may need to go through a sexist. You need to go talk to somebody, because I just feel like there's something there that
Yeah, them
needs to
roots are
be
deep.
addressed,
Those
right?
roots
That
are
needs to
deep.
be addressed. Um,
Mommy
and
heard
so,
daddy somewhere. Daddy heard mommy
right.
somewhere.
And kid watched. Kid definitely
Yeah.
observed. Right. And so when we're getting into these relationships and we want to get it on, of course, my advice, and we're getting ready to go to commercial break soon. My advice would be look for characteristics with this person. And then when we get back from commercial break, Manaal, I want you to consider this. Is waiting for marriage important to spirituality? You know, we're all spiritual beings walking through life, but do you feel like it is a spiritual trophy to say, I waited to marriage? But she's going to answer that when we come back from this commercial break. Go ahead and take
Okay.
us away, Kwame. I feel so ghetto for birthing. Yo, yo, yo. Now, I want to say this before we get back into our topic. There was a commercial that they played for photos and videos, right? That Pyro
Mm-hmm.
Media does. And let me say this. Get your coin up and whatever they charge, I need y'all to pay this. I went and sat for a photo shoot, Manaal. Now, I'm not the most photogenic type person, and I'm not a fashion. What you see on this screen is pretty much damn it what you're gonna get in real life, right? So I showed up with my clothes and I was like, oh Lord, we're gonna try to make this work. When I tell you they had a nigga looking fine, I looked at my damn self like, wait, hold on. Can I get your
Who is
number?
this?
Right, right, right. People that just do things in excellence, definitely black
Yeah.
excellence. And I don't have to say that because I'm on Pyro Media. That's not a part of my contract. But just black excellence. And it's something when you walk in the room and you know you're being handled by people who are pure at heart, who have a pure energy, but two, who know what they're doing. Yeah. Because I have had photo shoots where I was like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be telling me what to do. Why am I telling you? You are the photographer. You are the photographer. Get your lighting together. All right. All right. So we're back. Now, Manaal, I went down to the karaoke bar last week, right? And I won them people's trophy. I didn't want to tell nobody I was actually a professional singer. So I didn't tell them, but they kept telling me to sing. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. But then they tossed the mic in my hand, and I did what I try to do, right?
That's like the greatest karaoke night ever.
Right.
You and a bunch of your friends just go.
Right. I was really just there to chill. My friend is moving. But okay, so I got this trophy, and the trophy said for that night I was the best at karaoke. And when it comes to different spiritual practices, when it comes to marriage, it's almost like the best person to get married to has to be a virgin. That's their trophy. It's their trophy. I mean, I have seen pastors stand girls up and be like, she waited until she was married to have sex, right? And then like 3 months later, she's divorced, and we're like, well, if she had a little practice, he might have still been around. Not that sex, you can sex the trash out of anybody, but if you are a rookie and you're dealing with a pro, there may be some communication issues there. My question to you, Manaal, is, does virginity make you a more valuable marriage mate, a more valuable spouse?
No.
Okay.
So here's the thing. It all goes back to your worldview and your experience.
Right.
How they say experience is the best teacher.
Yes, it is.
If you have never been in relationship and had a depth of relationship, trying to get into a marriage, you don't know the breadth and width of what it takes, right? For yourself first, not even the other person. Because eventually what ends up happening is you start to look and treat that other person the way you look and treat yourself.
Okay.
And so if you haven't had experience in relationship with connecting with someone in that way, you are already putting yourself in a position where you have so much to learn within a relationship. And being a virgin going into a marriage does not make you more valuable. I feel like our value system is really kind of jacked up.
Right. It's really skewed. Yeah.
And it's jacked up because we have stopped looking at the quality of person.
Right.
And I'll say, and I'm not even going to say we stopped. We got away from looking at the quality of person long ago. I feel like now we're in a space where we're actually looking at the quality of the person.
We're getting back to some things, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Because we took on this mindset of this, this Eurocentric view. We took on this religious view. And so I feel like are getting to actually looking at who the person is, not necessarily how many partners they've had experience with.
Right.
So that's one element of it. The other thing is that I'm gonna say this, Walter.
Yes, say
it. I was not a virgin when I got married. I know, right?
You had already partaken of the sex of men?
The sex of men and women. So firsthand, one of the challenges when I was dating is I was so afraid of being touched. I was so afraid of my feelings. I was so afraid of my body's natural responses to being attracted to this person. So much so where I damaged my relationships early on. Because I was so afraid of feeling. I was so afraid of intimacy. Right. So it's not even just the actual physical act of sex. It's all the things surrounding that, getting that in your mind, getting that in your body, and learning to be okay and accept it.
Mm-hmm.
I did not have those tools.
Mm-hmm.
And so
And mm-hmm.
I had to work those things out, got married, got
Mm-hmm.
divorced,
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
and now I'm coming out of the relationship from a whole different angle. So really, it's, to me, it's about that experience. It's about
Right.
knowing yourself. It's about being fully comfortable and confident with who you are, and
Mm-hmm.
being comfortable with sharing yourself with another person, mind, body, soul, and spirit, and then
Right.
making room for them to do the same. It is
Mm.
not about virginity or not, or it's not about being a virgin or not being a virgin. It's
Mm-hmm.
about your experience. It's
Right.
about your comfortability and your body of knowledge that you're coming into a relationship
Mm-hmm.
with.
I think, and this is gonna sound, a lot of people are gonna think I'm just talking shit, but I think it's irresponsible to marry someone and not have sex with them before you get married.
I agree.
I feel like it's irresponsible. I did that, and I knew about three sessions of intercourse in. I was like, this. I don't know how long this gonna last. I mean, not only because it was a woman, and I was like, I don't know how long she gonna be able to, I don't know how long she gonna be able to hold my attention. But beyond that, it was just like this was not the type of sex that I was used to. Like I was used to something that was not happening. And I'm not gonna blame any person. I'm just gonna say that the chemistry, the sexual chemistry, was not there. And I feel like if we had had sex before marriage, we would have come to that conclusion a lot sooner. Like it would have just been like, you know what? You're an amazing friend. What a friend you have in Jesus. Like I feel like and I got Mises from Duran Bernard. I don't want him to feel like I'm stealing this stuff. But I feel like we would have had a more amicable relationship if we had had sex before marriage. And because we didn't, I feel like that is one of the major contributors to why we are, well, not together today. That's a whole lot to unpack, but that's show on its own. Yeah. But
Um,
go ahead.
so like I want to just say this. It's not that everybody needs to go out and have sex if you're a virgin. That ain't it.
Right.
It's the reality that there's so much that goes into connecting with yourself and connecting with another person. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't know until you experience. And so if you have positioned yourself where maybe you are a virgin and
Mm-hmm.
you're with someone, you're dating people that are not virgins, just be aware that y'all are on two different playing fields.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um and I would say the reason I'm not saying go out and have sex with everybody you see, because the
Right.
reality is you're going to attach yourself to so many different people, and you're going
Right.
to have to reroute and rework every time you
Right.
end up sleeping with someone. And
Mm-hmm.
if your goal is relationship, if your
Mm-hmm.
goal is stability, if your goal is commitment, then maybe you don't need to be so promiscuous, right? Or
Right.
you're being indiscriminate. I'm gonna just sleep with everybody that wink at me. That's probably not the route to go.
Right.
But I'm a wink. I'm gonna sleep with everybody that wink at me and they got a job, or everybody that wink at me and they actually got two eyes. I'm a, like
Okay.
everybody, like be a little bit more
Selective.
discriminatory
Mm-hmm.
in your approach to your promiscuity, because your goal is not to sleep with everybody. Your goal is to, of course, enjoy yourself, learn yourself, but
I like
be a
this.
student of yourself. Be a student of yourself. Be a student of relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
allow yourself to open up to being intimate
Right.
first with self and then with someone else.
Right. Right. I like what Dante said. Can I get that back on the screen, sir? By the way, hi, Dr. Morris. Dr. Morrison, I messed up that last name. Dr. Morrison says, well, sadly, some people, mostly super saved Christians, only marry so they can have sex. And that is so true. That is so true. When you talk to people, and I've had this conversation this week alone, and they're like, well, I can't do that. I'm not married. And I'm like, yes, you can. You grown, girl. We all out here paying our own bills. Now, I know you don't want to do it with me, but girl, go on over there. Y'all winking at each other. Y'all done rubbed all on each other. You know, I'm definitely not a good influence if you want to remain a virgin. I'm definitely not. I'm like, girl, you know you honey, go over there and ride this honey. But I feel like in super religious circles, it creates the atmosphere, just like you just said. It causes us to get in a space where we're so focused on not having sex until we forget that you do need to know yourself, right? You got to know yourself so that you can convey to your mate, whether it be in a marriage or just dating, what to do. Do that. Do this here. You know, oh, I like it like that. You know, I'm gonna say that for another show. I was gonna put all my motherfucking business out here.
Can I tell a story?
Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So, you know, you have different positions, right?
Oh, yes.
And different positions stimulate different things in your body, right?
Correct.
So there is this phenomenal position where you are getting orally stimulated by sitting on an individual's face.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. So in my other days, this was suggested to me. Hey, I want you to ride my face. Okay, cool. So I'm just sitting. You know, I'm just chilling. I'm just hanging out. So from one relationship to the next, I'm just having this real, just whack experience.
Right.
Because I didn't know a thing and they didn't know to teach me a thing. We weren't connected enough to even be communicating about a thing. We were just doing a thing. Okay. And then I met the right person. And this person had that same request. And I said, I don't really like that. They were like, are you serious? And I said, no, I don't really like it. I don't really care. I don't like, it's not for me. I don't get no pleasure out of this. And they were like, I bet you ain't been doing it right. And I said, what else can I do? Walter, when I sat on this person's face, I then experienced what holy tongues are.
Oh, okay.
This person guided me and taught me and gave me instructions on what to do with myself. And when I tell you, I have never in my life enjoyed that position the way I enjoy it now. Now, I think back, Walter, to the years when I bought into this teaching that I needed to wait.
Right.
When I bought into this teaching that I needed to stay married and not get a divorce.
Right.
While I'm riding this person's face, I said, I'm glad that I didn't just stop at that first person's face.
Right.
And I made it to your face.
Right.
Because now I can experience the holies of holies.
Yes.
So I'm not saying everybody go out and stop being a virgin tonight. You go find somebody, go get it in, give your virginity away. What I'm saying is experience is absolutely the best teacher.
Right.
And if you just decide to settle on one person, you might be missing out on some fantastic and phenomenal experiences that you could have with other people that actually get you closer to who you are, who you want to be, and more intimate with someone than you ever thought you would be.
I low-key felt like there should have been some slow music playing behind you there. That was the altar call. I felt like you're closer to yourself, and closer to God. Damn it! No, no, no.
No, really. I saw the
You-
robe.
right. Now, we have a question of the night, Manaal. We're gonna ask the question of the night, and Kwame, can I get that question? There we go. Kwame, sorry. Could you date a 40-year-old virgin? Could you date a 40-year-old virgin? For me, it's a hard no. I couldn't. I couldn't. You know, I've been out here in the jungle for a while, so I know how to survive in the jungle. And I don't want to invite someone to the jungle and they've never been to the woods. I don't want somebody that has no experience. We talking about a real virgin. I'm not talking about. He said I could say what I want. I'm not talking about you church virgins that's been going around sucking and taking loads and doing all this extra stuff that y'all just do and then say you're a virgin because you ain't never actually ran up in somebody's genitals. We're not talking about them kind of virgins.
Right. I recommitted myself.
I'm a
I
born
was
again
wild
virgin.
in my 20s, but then I stopped.
I'm a born again virgin today. Like we're talking about a real virgin. I couldn't deal with someone who has not had that type of experience. Like I'm even though I do like to teach, I don't like to teach in that arena. It's just not something I'm interested in doing. Of course, I'm willing to learn whoever I'm with. I'm willing to learn whatever, they want. Some people like, what did I say here? Oh, some people like things different. Some people, you mentioned, some people ride the face different. Some people, suck. Some people don't like to suck. Some people, eat. Some people don't like to eat. I'm willing to learn my mate, but I'm not willing to teach someone who's never sat at the table how to eat. That's just not what I'm willing to do. How about you, Manaal?
You know what? So I know for sure I would never marry a virgin. That's just not up my thing.
Okay.
But dating a virgin. Dating. So a virgin is someone who never had sex or did sexual acts.
Yeah.
So we're meaning like straight. I've never crossed that boundary of being physically touched in a sexual manner or even never touching in a sexual manner. Right?
Right.
I am way too sensual of a person.
Okay.
And I love to touch and be touched.
Oh yeah, guy.
And so I could not seriously date a virgin. For me, it would be too many boundaries that I would be tempted to cross if this is a person that I'm attracted to. And I wouldn't put someone in that position. And once being a virgin myself, dating individuals who had sexual experiences, that's way too much pressure on both people, let alone someone who's that up in age. That's not happening.
So you said pressure, so that threw me off because I love that song. But anyway, dating a 40-year-old virgin, for me, it's a no. In the comment section, is that a yay? What say ye? Yes or no? Maybe so. Dante asked us to define a virgin. I think you defined a virgin very well. Someone who has not had sexual contact. And again, I come from a church where, just because you can suck all you want, you can eat all you want, and some of the girls can, get it in through the rear all they want. The long as ain't nobody ran up in that, cootie cat, they will swear them ain't the kind of virgins I'm talking about. because you probably as experienced as me. I'm just willing to seal the deal. Like, so I'm not talking about that kind of virgin. I'm talking about a virgin that is legitimately a virgin. Dante says no, and for me, it's a hard no as well. All right, so we talked about consent. I feel like we really covered some really good things. If you got here afterwards, we talked about the value of consent, having full autonomy of your sexual experience. We talked about some really, really good things on tonight. Manaal, what is a final thought that you would have for someone? Maybe some last words that you would have for someone who's watching.
If you are wanting to connect with somebody, throw out that calendar. That calendar is it's a trick that you put in your own mind, or that has been put in your mind to make you believe that you can have someone connect with you or change someone's behavior according to a calendar. When in actuality, you need to be spending time with yourself. I'm always going to send you back to yourself. You need to get to know who you are and what you want in a person. You know, you may want somebody that steals. That works for you. You want somebody who steals. You don't care whether they thieving from Walmart or not. But that's who you want, right? Versus thinking that you have to have what your friends have or what your parents say you need to have, and you're trying to create that. You need to be real with who you are, but you got to know who you are so you can actually connect and attract with who you actually desire.
Big facts. For me, if I have final thoughts, it would be something very simple. Trust yourself. When you see trash ass behavior, kick them to the curb. For me, now there's a difference between a glitch or maybe something that is irritating you. But when I see that whole behavior, we gave that definition earlier. When I see that whole behavior, it's a wrap. All right.
Yeah.
With that being said, Manaal, how can the people follow you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook under Manaal Bay, on Instagram under Manaal_smiles, and on YouTube under Bay Windows.
I love it. And you can follow me on all social media. I am Walt B Connection. My name is Walter Bernard. And once again, we just thank you all for tuning in. If you're watching this on a replay, feel free to leave a comment. Somebody will respond to you. I check the videos often. Somebody will definitely respond, get back to you. We want to once again thank Pyro Media Network. We want you to stay tuned. Come back here at what time is it? Come back here at 8 because you want to tune in to the Dante Morrison Show. And just go to the Pyro Media page and just click through all that shit. You're gonna learn something, laugh. You're just gonna have an amazing time. Once again, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you the same time next week, baby.